let's look at your defensive positions for the DeLand Suns. It's Jackson Genoa behind the plate. Judson Sionis is at first base. Osman Melendez is at second. Connor O'Sullivan is at short. Eli Tidwell is holding down the hot corner. Gavin Thomas is in left. Michael O'Brien in center. And Holden Bronner is in right. Next pitch to Antonelli, it's outside, so it'll be a 1-1 count. Once across the board, 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out.
Good job by Antonelli watching that one lead the zone. It looked like he thought about, maybe trying to put a swing on it, but at the last second thought better and used his discipline.
And swung on and missed. Good pitch by Meeks there. Antonelli was late on that pitch, so it's a 1-2 count on him now. 4 batters retired. It's 2 flyouts and 2 groundouts for Meeks, and that one's fouled back, so we'll do the 1-2 again.
Antonelli has been one of, if not the best bat in the month of July, at least, for the Winter Garden Squeeze. Initially, his batting average wasn't the absolute best, but ever since, over the last 3 weeks, he's brought it to 230.
And, of course, Antonelli launched a home run in that last series against the Suns here at Conrad Park.
Absolutely. And he's actually tied in for the team lead in homers with Pines. He had one against the Diamond Dogs in the last series that the Squeeze had.
2-2 on Antonelli, misses outside, so it'll be a full count on him. 3-2-1 on the board, 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Payoff pitch, swung on, and this is going to land for a hit as it lands in the gap. Antonelli rounds first. He's trying for second. Throw to second. It's going to be offline and not in time. So Antonelli has a 1-out double here in second.
Isaac Antonelli with an absolute rocket out into left center. He perfectly found the 7-8 gap here at Melching Field. I thought he was just going to stop for the single based on how quickly both O'Brien and Baez, actually O'Brien and Thomas, managed to get to that ball, but I guess he saw something different, rounded the corner very hot, and actually turned it into extra bases.
So with the runner in scoring position, it's going to be Zacharias Walker up to bat. Walker was an all-star this year and, of course, had a homer for the West team.
And in addition to that home run in the All-Star game, he has 2 in the regular season this summer for Winter Garden, one of those being against the Diamond Dogs just a couple days ago.
And we do have to remember that all the stats we read are from the regular season.
Absolutely.
Postseason stats are reset, so it's a fresh slate for all these guys, but we do get a look into their summers as we read off their regular season stats.
And that's the funniest part about postseasons in any sport is, a guy who might be middle of the pack in terms of numerical stats amongst his team, he might pop off when it matters most.
It's going to be a 2-0 on Walker. Delivery from Meeks. Misses outside, so it'll be a 3-0 pitch.
Solid at bat so far here for Walker as he's let the first 3 go by for balls.
Meeks.
There's a good chance he might take a swing at this one, but we'll see.
Yeah, Meeks falling behind after the 1-out double. Runner goes. Throwing over to third will not be in time, as Antonelli has a stolen base and is 90 feet away from putting the first run on the board.
Great jump by Isaac Antonelli. You don't see guys typically trying to go for third, but obviously he got the better of Meeks there, and there's already a runner at third with only 1 out here in the second.
Yeah, Meeks is also in danger of walking Walker here. The 3-1. Walker swings on it. This is sent towards Melendez. That will score Antonelli. Melendez throws on over to first. It's in time, but an RBI ground out for Zacharias Walker puts a squeeze on the board here in the second.
So Walker, unfortunately, could not capitalize on the 3-0 count as he is put out via the 4-3, but he will still drive in a run as Incinelli comes home to score and get things started here at Melching Field.
So with 2 outs, it'll be Steinmetz who comes up to bat. No balls, no strikes. Pitch swung on, and this is sent towards the right center gap. Michael O'Brien is able to get to it in time, so that's out number 3. But with an Isaac Incinelli 1-out double, he steals third, and that's enough for Zacharias Walker to bring him in. Squeeze are up 1-0, but it's going to be the Suns have the second when we come right back. Welcome back to the broadcast. It's Gavin Thomas leading things off for the DeLand Suns. First pitch to him swung on and fouled back, so he starts off with an 0-1 count.
Thomas, the biggest bat on this Suns team in 2025, leads them in homers this summer.
Leads the league in homers as well.
So he ended up with his with the league. Wow.
Yeah, ended up with the league.
Wow.
Say that 5 times fast. League. But yes, he ended the season with 6 and absolute monsters, and of course, most of them came in that second half. He hit 4 in the same weekend, and he has his favorite ballpark to hit in is, of course, Pat Thomas Stadium in Leesburg. Had 3 homers over there. I think it's an even 3-3. 3 homers at Pat Thomas and 3 here at Melching Field. 2-1 misses, so it'll be 3-1 on him. Gavin Thomas pulls ahead of this count. Isaac Sewell.
And this is good to see if you're Gavin Thomas, as obviously we've seen throughout the season. You know, sometimes he's had his strikeout troubles.
Yeah, but he swings over that breaking ball, so Sewell is able to climb back and make it a full count.
Yeah, good job on Isaac, and that's been a commonality that we've seen in Sewell's summer. Sometimes in the earlier.
And it's a drop third strike. Throw on over to first is in time. Looked like that breaking ball fooled Thomas again, and Sewell has his first strikeout of the game, and that's his 4th batter retired.
Yeah, good job by Sewell there to force the dropped strike number 3. But yeah, I was going to say sometimes Isaac sometimes has maybe taken a little bit to get going in terms of in the earlier parts of innings or just in the earlier parts of games. He may respond well, but unfortunately, when he has given up runs early in the past, sometimes it's come back to bite the squeeze, but he hasn't given up any just yet here, although it is only the 2nd inning.
First pitch to Holden Bronner misses down low and beat ball number 1. Actually got away from Drew Pines a little bit, but wasn't much of a danger with no one on base. Next pitch to Bronner is hit well, but it's sent straight towards Zacharias. Walker is actually going to bounce. It's going to fly over his head, so Holden Bronner has a one-out double and is mimicking the squeeze here a little bit, as last time Isaac Incinelli had a one-out double.
Yeah, the squeeze, obviously, there's at least one out here, but obviously with Bronner now being at second, it is a little bit of a precarious situation. But ultimately, Walker just lost it in the sun there, as I'm not sure if he would have. I mean, maybe if he had kind of tracked all the way back throughout the entirety of that ball's flight path, might have had a chance, although it did land at the warning track. But yeah, ultimately he just lost it in the sun.
Yeah, had a good arc. It flew over his head, but that'll be a one-out double for Holden Bronner, and the Suns have a chance to answer back here. Off the bat, it's Jackson Jania. He is playing behind the dish today. Has brought some stability to that catcher position. He swings on this one, is sent straight towards the second baseman. Throw on over to first is inside, or is in time, excuse me, but Holden Bronner is able to move on to third base. So a productive AB for Jania, and that makes way for Osman Melendez to potentially bring in the tying run.
Yeah, that's a good job by Janila to advance Bronner over to third, and this is a similar situation to what we saw in the top half for the squeeze. So we'll see if Osman Melendez can advance.
He swings on the first pitch he sees. Incinelli fields it. Throw on over to first is in time. Despite the one-out double, squeeze defense able to pick up the pitcher there and retire the next two batters to keep the runner at third. Squeeze still lead 1-0, and we're going to head to the top of the third inning. Welcome back. Squeeze lead 1-0 as we head to the top of the third. Leading things off for Winter Garden is going to be Braden Weckman.
Yeah, Weckman, big outfielder out of Sneed State, or at least he played there this past spring. Had a pretty good season over at Sneed State, batted over .310, had 8 RBIs in his 21 games played. But here in the Florida League this summer, he was one of the best bats for head coach Mike McDaniel. Fouled off there, but he batted .278, 15 hits in 54 at-bats, 13 runs scored, a double, 6 RBIs, 7 walks for Weckman.
First pitch to, or Weckman, excuse me, that was the 1-2 pitch, and Weckman strikes out. So Maddox Meeks continues his good pitching. And that's his first strikeout of the game right there.
Yeah, so far Meeks has only allowed one runner on base.
Of course, Incinelli made the most of it, stole third. You kind of look at both score sheets and very similar. Holden Bronner was able to get a one-out double last time up. Incinelli had a one-out double. Scott pops up, and it's going to be Gavin Thomas who brings it in, so a quick out number 2 for Maddox Meeks.
Good job there by the DeLand defense. Good communication, especially as Gavin Thomas ranged over to his left about 20 yards or so to make that catch. It was a bit of a pop-up. Obviously, it had a decent chance of kind of just, dropping in outfield grass, but good job on Thomas to prevent the base runner.
Yeah, you always hold your breath when 3 defenders are converging on one another in those no man's land notches, but good communication there. Thomas was speeding down there and was able to bring it in.
Yeah, he had to with that one.
So it's Javier Casadilla up. It's 1-0, and he fouls that one to the right side, so it's going to be a 1-1 on him.
Casadilla, also a cornerstone of this 2025 Squeeze team. Looking at his numbers in the regular season, didn't have the best summer at the plate, only a 153 average, but he has been nails on defense for the most part.
2-1 count on him. Pretty solid crowd here at Melching Field.
Yeah.
Of course, it's the first day of the playoffs, and we're seeing a mix of Suns and Squeeze supporters.
Yeah, everybody obviously taking advantage of the little tables that they have.
It's 2-2 on Casadilla.
This has to be, in terms of seating capacity, the biggest ballpark that we have in the Florida League.
Oh, 100%. I mean, this field, of course, the runner-ups would be Sanford and Pat Thomas, but those are 2 very similar builds. Casadilla gets a hold of this one and might land, and diving attempt by Holden Bronner. Luckily, Michael O'Brien is able to get to it in time to keep Casadilla at first base. Yeah, that was kind of a bloop single right there. Holden Bronner did his best to record the out, but it just wasn't enough as Casadilla has a 2-out single.
Herculean effort out in right by Bronner as Casadilla will get on base safely. Had a 2-2 count, and obviously that's one of those plays where, tough luck for the Suns, but at least they have 2 outs to work with.
So the Squeeze lineup flips over, and it's going to be Nico Banez up to bat. Grounded out last time. First look from Meeks, and swings and misses on that one, so it'll be an 0-1 count.
Banez, like I said, the leading batter this summer. Well, I guess now second leading batter, but amongst players who have been here at least since June, the leading batter. He batted .309 in 2025.
Another pickoff attempt from Meeks, not there. He does it again, doesn't get him.
And not surprising, given not only the situation, but just the fact that, we are in the playoffs. So Meeks just obviously not wanting to take any risks here.
And he is valid to be checking on that as Incinelli scored after stealing third.
Right.
And that made all the difference right there, because if you look at the score sheets, it was almost identical what happened. The one-out batter was able to notch a double, and then the next guy grounded out. But the only difference is that Incinelli stole before that ground out, as opposed to Holden Bronner, he didn't. So with Incinelli only 90 feet away, there's nothing the defenders could do when the ball was put in play.
Absolutely good job here by Banez to watch that one go inside. He's walked 11 times throughout the course of the regular season.
The 2-1 delivery from Meeks swung on, and this is sent high. Gavin Thomas has a beat on it, brings it down, and that's out number 3. So 4 Squeeze come across in the third, and despite the 2-out single, unable to do anything with it as the next batter is retired. But it's still 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the third inning here at Melching Field. Welcome back as we head to the Suns' half of the third inning. Leading things off for them is going to be William Waz Rawlings. He is the 8-hole hitter for the DeLand Suns. First pitch he sees is outside for ball number 1.
Once again, Sewell beginning an inning here with a pitch out of the zone, and Rawlings has been a very, very big component of this 2025 Suns team, especially with how good he is as a two-way player.
Yeah, it's been seen success not just as a hitter but as a pitcher, as you said, and he is live tonight, so we might see him, but has a humble 0.79 ERA, I want to say.
Wow.
Which is just absolutely ridiculous, and as a batter, I believe he batted around the 280 mark during the regular season. The 1-2 misses low, so it's going to be an even count, 2-2. Excuse me, I actually got both those numbers wrong. He has a 0.58 ERA.
Excuse you.
0.78 wasn't good enough. And then 274 average on the season. The 2-2 breaking ball misses just high, so it'll be a full count on Waz.
That was super close there for Rawlings, but you can best believe he's glad about that one. The count full here, though.
3-2. And so breaking ball swung on a miss. Drop third strike. Throw on over to first is in time, so that'll be a strikeout to start things off here in the third.
Make that 3 straight, dating back to Jernilla's out in the second inning for Sewell, and this is arguably one of the best starts to a game for Sewell.
One misses. Excuse me, it'll be a 1-0 count on him. One ball, no strikes. Connor O'Sullivan up to bat. O'Sullivan had a home run in Sanford the other day. His first homer of the season. Became the 5th Sun to knock one over the wall. It was a ball that just kept carrying and carrying. It was an Oppo Taco as it went over the left field wall. Swings and misses on that one, so it'll be a 1-2 count on him.
Wow, and that is not easy to do, especially given the dimensions of historic Sanford Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, 5th Sun to hit a homer, 2nd to go opposite field, as Gavin Thomas went opposite field here in DeLand. I believe it was against Winter Garden as well.
Yeah.
One ball, 2 strikes, so Sullivan still stays alive in this AB. 1 out. Behind him, it'll be Judson Sayanis. 1-2 delivery from Sewell. Swung on. Weak contact is shot straight towards Stafford. He flips on over to Sewell for out number 2. Wow, it looked like Stafford was going to take it himself and decided last second to give it to Sewell for the putout.
Yeah, that was obviously quite the decision by Stafford. Like you said, I also thought he was just going to beat him with the foot race to the first base bag, but I guess he decided to save those extra couple of milliseconds and get the ball over to Isaac and get out number 2.
It's Justin Sayanis up to bat. First pitch, he sees a shot straight towards the middle. It looked like it hit Sewell. Throw on over to first is in time. You have to imagine Sewell kind of slowed it down a little bit. Incinelli was able to field it and throw it to first on the run. It's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for the pitcher on the mound. Squeeze are still up 1-0, and we're going to head to the top of the 4th inning. Welcome back as the Squeeze start things off here in the top of the 4th inning, and I'm going to pass things off over to Ricky Potts as he's going to handle our middle innings.
Thank you so much, Adrian, as I'm glad that we get to do this 3-3-3 rotation, especially given the circumstances of the playoffs. Dominic Donatucci gets underneath the first pitch he sees from Maddox Meeks, and Holden Brunner is there to make the grab. So for the most part, outside of the 1 run, Meeks has been doing very, very well here, as pitch number 36 is for a pop out into right. So he retires Dominic Donatucci, and that'll bring up Sean Stafford, the first baseman for Winter Garden, the regular first baseman, I should say, as unless something happens here, Sean will most likely be the everyday first baseman throughout these playoffs. But a 1-0 count gets things started here for the Folsom Lake bat.
Yeah, both these pitchers are being really efficient with their counts, and it looks like it might be a tight one today.
Stafford hits one the opposite way. It's carrying back just in front of the warning track, but Kevin Thomas barely has to move and gets the fly out in left. So a fly out to right followed by one the other way is how this top of the 4th gets started for Winter Garden, and this is what you need if you're the Suns, trying to work through these innings as quick as possible in order to get your bats back out there, as they are down 1 after 3 innings here on their home field. And Drew Pines will get one up the middle for a single hard hit liner, gets in between Osman Melendez and the shortstop Connor O'Sullivan. Good hit by Pines.
Yeah, Squeeze are putting some good wood on the ball today. That's their 3rd hit of the ball game here in the 4th inning, as opposed to the Suns, who only have 1 hit. Maddox Meeks still has 2 outs, so if I were him, I wouldn't worry too much about that 2-out single. Just worry about the next guy up. But of course, that next guy is Isaac Incinelli, the guy who scored last time.
Who pops it up straight in the air. The third baseman, Tidwell, tracks it in foul territory, makes the grab, and ends the inning. So it looks like Maddox Meeks will get out of this top of the fourth in, I believe, very few pitches will have that accurate number when we come back. But the Squeeze are still up 1-0 after 3.5. Welcome back to this 2025 Florida Collegiate Summer League wildcard game between the 4th-seeded DeLand Suns and the 5th-seeded Winter Garden Squeeze with Adrian Delgado. I'm Ricky Potts. Adrian, so far it has been a complete and utter pitcher's duel to begin this ball game.
Yeah, 100%. Besides the discrepancy in the second, where Incinelli came around to score for the Squeeze, it's just been absolute lights-out baseball from both guys on the mound.
Daniel Baez 1-1 count.
Yeah, neither has faced more than 4 batters in a frame, which is
wow.
just phenomenal stuff you want to see. But if you're the Suns, at least if you look at the Squeeze, at the very least, they're working base runners.
Yep.
So they're moving their way through the order, and they're giving themselves more ABs. Where you look at the Suns, and we're here in the 4th barely or already, and we're barely seeing the second time through the order for DeLand.
That one sweeps low and outside for Daniel Baez. The count is back even this time at 2 apiece for the outfielder. And now that one goes inside.
So it'll be Daniel Baez, Michael O'Brien, and Eli Tidwell to round things up for the 3 we see this inning at least.
Pitch number 40 for Sewell is outside. So good discipline by Daniel Baez. He'll take the walk and move safely over to first. That's the first base runner that the Suns have had since the second inning when Holden Bronner had that double.
Yeah, and that's what you need. You're just going to get manufactured base runners, and here comes Coach Mike McDaniel to come have a conversation with Sewell.
Yeah, it's probably just going to be a quick little chat with the entire infield. Like I said, he only has 40 pitches here in the 4th inning, so he's working very efficiently, very economically. No need to reach out into the bullpen just quite yet, but we'll see how the Squeeze respond, or the Suns, given that they're in a 1-run deficit here in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, 40 pitches, and only the second base runner he's seen in 3 complete innings of work. Still has a whip below 1 on the day. So, Mike McDaniel just telling him more strategy than maybe criticism's the word that comes to mind, but can't imagine that's what Coach McDaniel is telling to his guy who's just been absolutely phenomenal on that mound today.
Absolutely. Looking at 22 strikes to 18 balls for Isaac Sewell. He's only obviously given up the extra base hit in the second and now the walk here, but nobody else has been on base under the watch of Isaac Sewell, but Michael O'Brien, the center fielder, will take to the plate once again. And O'Brien watches that one find the top of the strike zone.
O'Brien grounded out last time he was up. Different situation here with a runner at first base. Might see Coach Cameron Jurgens get aggressive with the safety squeeze here.
0-1 pitch is outside for ball number 1, so back-to-back batters face even counts to begin their appearance. No outs for the Suns here in the bottom of the 4th as they trail 1-0 to the Winter Garden squeeze. And that one easily in the zone.
1-2 count on O'Brien here. O'Brien was a great contact guy, ended things off last season with a .333 average.
Swing and a miss there by Daniel Baez. So he'll be the first out. Michael O'Brien. So he'll be the first out of this bottom of the 4th as he goes down swinging to Isaac Sewell on 4 pitches. The Winter Garden starter still rolling here despite giving up the walk.
And with the strikeout, the double play gets him out of this frame. Eli Tidwell up to bat.
Tidwell forced out the final out of the top of the 4th when he caught the pop out by Isaac Incinelli. 0-1 count gets his at-bat started. Fouled by Tidwell.
During the regular season, Tidwell tied for the lead league in triples with 3, tied with Dawson Harmon of the Sanford River Rats. But Tidwell is the only active player between those two right now.
And interestingly enough, triples typically on most levels of baseball are actually rarer than home runs.
Yeah.
Just because, you need everything to go right in order to get a triple. But an 0-2 count coming up here for the third baseman. He fouls that one back as well.
Yeah, his last triple came in Leesburg, and it was so close to being a home run. It's still it still keeps me up at night because it was maybe like an inch or 2 away because it bounced off the top of the wall and back into the field of play. So it's still considered a live ball, and at least Tidwell was able to stretch it out for the triple.
Yeah, every sports fan has those those moments that they kind of go back to every now and then.
Looks like it just hit off the handle of the bat, so the at-bat will continue as that's ruled a foul ball.
Yeah, they say it nicked off the lower portion of Tidwell's bat. Couldn't really tell from up here if it hit that or maybe nicked his hand-wrist area, but the at-bat, like Adrian just said, will continue as the 0-2 pitch from Sewell is flown out into left. Walker makes the catch. Baez will have to trace back, but he's out. So they force the double play because Daniel Baez was too far off the first base bag. Tidwell hit an opposite field fly out to the left fielder, Zacharias Walker, who gunned him down at the first base bag. Stafford makes the catch as it turns into a fly out into left and a 7-3 double play turn here by the squeeze. It has been all defense so far as Winter Garden is still up 1-0 after 4. Zacharias Walker, who forced out Daniel Baez to end the bottom of the fourth, is now going to lead off this top of the fifth here for the Winter Garden squeeze. He grounded out to second his first time up in the second, and he fouls the first pitch he sees off.
And with how scarce base runners have been for these DeLand Suns, you just can't do that out there. I mean, Baez had a good read on the ball. I'm a little confused as to why he decided to go back to first so late, but that was a great throw from the left fielder there.
The 0-1 from Meeks is fouled off to the left side. Actually going to land in the stands in the far left.
As long as it stays in the stands and away from my car.
Are you parked on the right side or left side?
Right side today. I always park the right
Nice.
side because I tried finding parking once on the left side and I couldn't find any. So right side always has space and there's some trees or at least bigger cars that I'm able to hide behind.
Yeah, for sure. You know, obviously, well, I don't know how many truck drivers on average there are here in Florida, but in Texas it's like it's like the closest 50-50 that you can get between trucks and every other car.
Everyone makes fun of you for driving a hybrid until you work in baseball. So I can just like sneakily just hide behind someone and they get hit, not me, and it's worked out so well for me this season.
2-2 count is drilled out into right center. It's going to drop just in front of the warning track, trickle back that way. Extra base hit for Zacharias Walker. He took the 2-2 pitch from Maddox Meeks and yanked it into deep outfield grass. It took a little bit for O'Brien and Bronner to get back to it, and that's going to end up as a double for Zacharias Walker, the fourth of the game for Winter Garden.
It's like an extra base hit for the team as well, and yes, as you said, fourth hit of the day for Winter Garden, and things get a little dangerous here as now they have a runner in scoring position. Still no outs in the inning, so Max Meeks is going to have to string together a strikeout or two to get out of this one.
First pitch is a breaking ball that finds the zone of Cole Steinmetz.
And that was working for him last time. Max Meeks had a good feel on his breaking ball in his last outing, and he was able to record a good number of strikeouts. Not his last outing, but his previous full outing in that game against Winter Park, where he struck out 7 in 5 innings.
Wow. It's a blooping bunt that is going to be caught by Maddox Meeks. Cole Steinmetz trying to help his team by attempting to advance Walker on the base pass, but unfortunately he gets underneath it a little too much, hits it right back to Meeks for out number one.
Yeah, and those bunt pop-outs, I mean, they could be dangerous because if it's a little too quick, you might have a chance to turn it on the guy on base, so good on Walker to return to second safely. Don't really need to risk anything. There is action in the DeLand bullpen right now, so we'll see how long Meeks' leash is.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Meeks finishes out this start.
He's only at 48 pitches thrown.
So yeah, so his leash is, you know, depending on how he does, could still very well be enough as Weckman hits it over the head of O'Sullivan and make it an RBI single for Braden Weckman. A hard hit liner gets over the head of the shortstop, Connor O'Sullivan, who tried to make a leaping catch for it, but it was just too high up as Braden Weckman drives in run number 2 of the wild card game.
Yeah, great piece of hitting right there, sending it over the head of the fielder. That was just great solid contact all around and enough to bring in Walker for the second run, so he's able to tack on some insurance for the squeeze as the game is getting a little later now, as we are here in the top of the 5th inning. Still plenty of baseball to be left, but squeeze really putting the pressure on DeLand.
Winter Garden is now up 2-0 here in the top of the 4th with only 1 out and a runner on base in this wild card game as another one goes low from Maddox Meeks. And interestingly enough, we just talked about, how much longer does Meeks have, as it looks like there's going to be a mound visit called by DeLand.
Yeah, it's going to be Carson Walden who's going to have a conversation with Meeks.
You got to think, if Maddox Meeks manages to force a double play here and get out of this inning before any more damage can be done, it may be the last inning of work for him. And, especially for psychological purposes, it would be good to get him out of here on a high note.
Yeah, like you said earlier, everyone is live today, and looks like it's a left-hander. Might be John Havens up there, but we'll see. It's only a matter of time.
The Squeeze so far that was the 5th hit of the game for Winter Garden, compared to the Suns, who have 1, as they face a multi-run deficit here in the top half of the 5th.
Still a close game. It's only 2 runs, and you could say there's plenty of time, but of course you don't want to waste that time.
Right.
You wait till the last moment. The DeLand Suns did a pretty solid job in those last 2 weeks, scoring runs early. We saw them in the beginning of the season. They really waited till the 8th or 9th inning to start tying or taking the lead in games. They were able to come into their own, and they marked games with double-digit runs and double-digit hits this past week, and hopefully we can see those Suns in this one.
Yeah, this game is far from over. We have seen crazier things in the Florida League. Swing and a miss by Caleb Scott, and Braden Weckman steals second in time. So the big outfielder slides in safely as he puts himself in scoring position, as Caleb Scott will face a 2-2 count coming up. Good steal by Weckman.
Yeah, that eliminates the double play opportunity right there with Weckman nabbing second base.
Even count pitches swung on and missed. So back-to-back missed swings by Caleb Scott will sit him down for out number 2 here in the top of the 5th. And that'll bring up the last batter in the order for Winter Garden, that being Javier Calzadilla.
Yeah, Calzadilla also notched a single last time he was up. If he does it again, should be enough to score Weckman. But with that strikeout, Maddox Meeks is able to calm himself down a little bit.
Calzadilla fouls off the first pitch he sees in his second at-bat from Maddox Meeks.
Yeah, as the only person he has to worry about is now Calzadilla. As long as he retires him, he gets out of this one and keeps this game where it is.
Back in the 3rd inning, Calzadilla hit a single on a 2-2 pitch from Maddox Meeks, which was a high pop out into right that dropped just in front of Holden Bronner. And now the count is even. 1-1 coming up here for Calzadilla with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Winter Garden up by 2. That one high and outside.
2 balls, 1 strike on Calzadilla. I don't know about you, it's only the 5th inning, but I'm like feeling the nerves up here in the booth. I'm not even playing down there.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. Just like when the clock hit like 6:30, my brain was ultimately just like, oh, this is happening. Like, we're here.
We're here. And remember, the Squeeze need to keep the foot on the gas, but the Suns need to start manufacturing something. Again, this is a winner-take-all game. No do-overs after this. If you win, you're in. If you lose, you're done.
Absolutely, and being up by 2, obviously it's nothing to joke around about, as Javier Calzadilla will walk on 5 pitches, as the Squeeze now have multiple runners on base here, as the lineup will reset with the center fielder Nico Banez. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Not only like once the clock hit 6:30, all those nerves and the energy just started flowing through my my veins. But being up 2 here in only the top of the 5th, it's not a firm cushion for the squeeze. But like you said, it's going to be ultra important for them to keep their foot on the gas and not let the desperation that the Suns are sure to begin feeling here kick in.
Yeah, you still have plenty of outs left, but of course you don't want to wait till the very last second. No movement from the Suns coaching staff, so they're looking for Meeks to get himself out of this one. There is a play at any bag.
0-2 count coming up here for Banyas. The squeeze potentially down to their final strike here in the fifth. Meeks delivers, and it's outside.
Be a 1-2 count.
Calzadilla sits at first. Weckman is in scoring position. Banyas behind in the count here to the starter Meeks. It's grounded to second. Melendez easily turns the 4-3 to Judson Cyanis. So despite allowing 2 runners on base, the DeLand Suns managed to get themselves out of this inning, but not before an RBI single from Braden Weckman extends the Squeeze's lead to 2-0 halfway through this wild card game. Halfway through this 2025 wild card game in the Florida League, as the Winter Garden Squeeze now lead 2-0 over the DeLand Suns after a Braden Weckman RBI single extended that lead, as Gavin Thomas kicks off this 5th inning with a swing and a miss.
And you see that the Squeeze have 5 hits and 6 base runners. Suns only with 1 hit and 2 base runners. Isaac Sewell just absolutely in the driver's seat.
Absolutely.
On their mound. And now he has Thomas behind 0-2.
That was only pitch number 51 for Sewell, and 52 is in for a strike. He sits down Gavin Thomas on 3 pitches, takes care of the biggest bat on this DeLand Suns team, and you're absolutely right. Isaac Sewell has been rocking.
Here's a guy to maybe shake things up. It'll be Holden Bronner. Has a double today, the only DeLand hit of the night.
Ball 1 is how Bronner's second plate appearance will get started here.
Yeah, he got Thomas with 3 strikes in a row and now has issued 2 balls in a row to Holden Bronner.
And this is what the Suns need here. Bronner has the only hit of the ball game for the DeLand Suns. 2-0 is outside.
Sewell in danger of walking his second batter of the night.
He thought he was going to get a 4-pitch walk there, but home plate umpire says that one is in the zone. So still a hitter's count for Holden Bronner here. 3-1, I should say.
Yeah, good attempt on him to try to sell it at least, but the AB will continue.
But he gets another base hit. Holden Bronner is racing for second, and he's in for another double.
Oh, that was so close and so dangerous. That throw by Nico Bañez was just a little bit to the left and was just enough for Bronner to advance to second base, but good on him to be aggressive there. Made my heart stop a little bit.
Absolutely.
The Suns have a runner in scoring position and hope maybe they're able to bring him in and start chipping in to the squeeze lead.
You're absolutely right. The entire press box's eyes started widening as he rounded first and headed for second because, I mean, again, we all thought that was just going to be a guaranteed single. I do like the aggressiveness. However, we all, like you said, were just holding our breaths to see what was going to happen as Holden Bronner gets himself an extra base hit for the second time in this ballgame. He's been kind of one of the few bright spots here as the Suns are down 2-0 in the bottom of the fifth. 0-1 count here for Jackson Janilla.
Yeah, and it was a ball hit into the gap. So it was one of those that if you have the speed, you can stretch it out, and Holden Bronner just had just enough.
Jackson Janilla follows up the double with a single as he finds the 4-3 gap between the squeeze defense and gets himself on base safely. So the Suns have runners at the corner off of back-to-back hits from Bronner and Janilla with only one out here in the bottom of the fifth.
Yeah, it's time run at first base. Osman Melendez represents the go-ahead at the plate.
And this is exactly what we were talking about, for the squeeze, how important it was to keep their foot on the gas, but for the Suns, how important it was to kick into that next gear and try to get themselves back in this ball game. But ball number one is in to Melendez.
Yeah, good on Pines to keep it in front of him as it looked like it dropped a little bit. Runners at the corners. A double play gets them out of this, but Suns in danger of scoring here.
The 1-0 pitch from Sewell is swung on and missed, but Janilla will steal second.
That's good because now a base hit here potentially scores both runners, but also, more importantly, it eliminates the double play.
Absolutely right. Ones all the way around except on the bases.
So now the infield will play shallow to adjust.
Melendez wisely watches that one drop low for ball number two. For the most part, both teams have been very, very sharp, especially on the defensive side of things. 2-1 finds, actually barely misses. Just goes above Osman Melendez's zone for a hitter's count. That breaking ball also misses high. Isaac Sewell does not get the release point he was looking for there as he walks Melendez on 5 pitches and loads the bases here in the bottom of the fifth for DeLand. Huge opportunity coming up for the hosts.
So things get interesting here as the bases are loaded, and it's Waz Rawlings up to bat. Rawlings, one of the most patient DeLand hitters.
Another breaking ball. This time drops low. Pines manages to keep it at the home plate area. But, yeah, you're absolutely right. Rawlings has 13 walks in the regular season. One-0 count is foul back.
Yeah, breaking ball was high. Rawlings thought he could get a piece of it, but he did. Unfortunately, it was foul back. But Ricky, real quick, just so you know how nervous I am and the people at home, it's a wooden deck. desk in front of us, and I was kind of scratching at it. I gave myself a splinter.
Oh, come on, Adrian. You gotta be careful. It's always the tiny ones that seem to hurt the most. It's like a paper cut. Rawlings hits a grounder to Incinelli. They turn. They do not turn the double play.
Oh, that was so close. That was so close. Rawlings just able to beat it out, and that's going to be an RBI ground out for him. It keeps the inning alive as Janilla now takes third base, and it's a 2-1 ball game.
Head coach McDaniel, within a matter of seconds, immediately started sprinting to the first base to talk with the infield umpire to get more clarity on the decision, but it does stand final as Rawlings gets an RBI as he advances Bronner home to score. And all of a sudden, the Suns are only down one here in the bottom of the fifth. What a crazy sequence of events here in this inning.
Yeah, and with this being a playoff game as well, we do have a full umpiring crew at Melching Field. During the regular season, we usually only see a home plate and a field umpire. Now we see 2 field umpires. So, making sure all the calls are right, and that was a close, bang, play right there. And Rawlings was able to benefit, and now he nabs second base on the pass ball.
He follows suit from Bronner and Janilla for that matter, as he steals second, but the pitch is in for a strike to Connor O'Sullivan. To recap what just happened, bases were loaded. Rawlings hit a decent grounder to Incinelli. He turned the 6-4 at the second base bag, got out number 2 as he retired Osman Melendez, but the throw from Scott was not in time according to the first base umpire, which ultimately allowed the run scored by Holden Bronner to stay in effect and put the Suns on the board. As this one is an opposite field fly out into left by Connor O'Sullivan as Zacharias Walker makes the catch, and out number 3. So by far the most action-packed half inning of this wild card game comes to an end as William Rawlings forces an RBI fielder's choice, scores Holden Bronner, and finally gets the Suns on the board as the Squeezer now only up 2-1 after 5 here at Melching Field. Don't go anywhere. The wild card game is just getting started. We're through 5 innings in the 2025 FCSL wildcard game as the DeLand Suns get their first run on the board, and Dominic Donatucci will lead things off. Squeeze only lead 2-1 here to begin the top of the 6th as the first pitch is in for strike number 1.
Yeah, no balls, 1 strike. Suns were able to tack on 1 with a very, very close play. So it's only a 1-run deficit as we enter the 6th inning.
Beautiful breaking ball there by Maddox Meeks, who is still on the mound for the DeLand Suns, as if he works through this inning quickly, you can almost guarantee this will be his last. And he's off to a good start there as he sits down Dominic Donatucci on 3 pitches. He goes down looking for out number 1.
Yeah, that strikeout shows that he not only has plenty of gas left out there on the mound, but his coaches have plenty of trust in him to go the distance and keep the game where it is.
Meeks, that was pitch number 66 for the big righty, coming into this game with a 3.38 ERA. Stafford flies it out into right center. Holden Bronner tracks it and makes the catch. So he swings on the first pitch that he sees, and that's out number 2 for Maddox Meeks.
And with 5 2/3 innings of work, he actually, this is now a season high for him, as his season high previously was only 5 complete innings.
Wow.
That out with Holden Bronner now makes it 5 2/3, and hopefully he can make it 6 right here.
Stepping up when it matters most. He throws another breaking ball, but this time it drops below Drew Pines' strike zone.
Squeeze were able to score last time up, but good on DeLand to at least answer back. Still down by 1, with 1 coming across in the second as well.
Pines goes around just a little early and fouls it off to the left side.
Yeah, that was a very hard hit ball. Just, yeah, like you said, too early on it.
I mean, so far through these 5 innings, well, I guess 5 2/3 now, I mean, could you have asked for a better game so far?
No, this is absolutely phenomenal. Has me on the edge of my seat right here.
Literally. I'm right here next to him, folks. He is stressing. This feels like, you know, when you're playing whatever video game you play, and then all of a sudden you have to start sitting up. And
exactly.
Actually.
Unfortunately, I just can't do anything about the stuff on the field. I just narrate it. Says he didn't go, so it'll be Deuces Wild on the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs.
Deuces Wild coming up for Drew Pines. The Winter Garden catcher is potentially down to the last strike of the game for the squeeze, and he watches ball 3.
Meeks really thought that was strike number 3 right there. He started walking towards the dugout. Unfortunately, doesn't get the call, so it'd be a full count.
Now the squeeze potentially down to their last pitch, as it's a full count with 2 outs, no runners on base for Winter Garden. Maddox Meeks fires the payoff. It's flown out deep into left center. It drops at the warning track, making an extra base hit for Drew Pines as he comes through for Winter Garden.
Yeah, that ball absolutely died as it hit the bottom part of the wall, and it looks like Maddox Meeks' day is done. As Coach Cameron Jurgens is coming out, 5 2/3 is all he'll get. Won't complete the 6. There's been action in the DeLand bullpen for a while now. Meeks a little unhappy to give away the rock, but should be proud of the performance he gave today.
Yep, we'll have Maddox Meeks' final numbers, as he will not get to finish out his potentially 6th inning of work. He's done for the day. Brilliant performance all around by Maddox Meeks, but we'll have his final numbers and the substitution when we come back. Maddox Meeks is done for the day. Dawson Turner will come in for him. By taking a look at Meeks' numbers really quick before we go through Turner's summer, Meeks pitched 5 2/3 innings, gave up 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts, which does not translate to the scoreboard because so far the Suns only down by 1, but Dawson Turner is now on the mound.
Yeah, out of the pen, the big lefty here, Turner. This is going to be his 4th appearance out of the pen for DeLand. 9 ERA in 6 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, 6 walks, and 6 hits. Meeks was a little reluctant to give the ball away, but this is a favorable lefty-on-lefty matchup for the pitcher up there.
And with 2 outs, obviously, it wouldn't be a crazy amount of pitches, hopefully, for Dawson Turner here to end this 6th inning as Incinelli pops one up straight in the air. Tidwell tracks it, makes another catch in foul territory. So that's the second time that's happened today as Isaac Incinelli fends off the 0-1 pitch right into the glove of Eli Tidwell. So that is how the top of the 6th will end, as a extra base hit from Drew Pines will ultimately be nullified, as the DeLand Suns defense is still working efficiently because they're only down 2-1 heading into the bottom of the 6th. We're We're through 5.5 here in this 2025 wild card game between the DeLand Suns and the visiting Winter Garden Squeeze. The Squeeze are the 5th seed in this year's playoffs, while the Suns come in at number 4. New pitcher on the mound for the Winter Garden Squeeze, that being Gabriel Vargas. He's going to be coming in relief of Isaac Sewell. Taking a look at his numbers so far in 2025, Vargas has had 3 appearances this summer for head coach McDaniel. 3 of those, or all of those, I should say, were starts. This is his first relief in 2025. 13 full innings pitched, 21 hits allowed, 10 runs allowed, 8 of those earned, 5 walks to 7 strikeouts. So decent summer for him, as he was a late arrival for this Squeeze team. Obviously would like to keep that hit number down a little bit here in the playoffs, but he's making his debut here in the postseason.
Starting things off for DeLand's going to be Judson Sionis.
Yep, the first baseman will lead things off. Grounds off the first pitch he sees to Isaac Incinelli, who successfully converts the 6-3 play. So 1 steps up, 1 is sat down, and that is how Gabriel Vargas's relief will begin. 6-3 is good, but we can take a look at Isaac Sewell's final numbers for this wild card game. 5 full innings of work, 3 hits allowed, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts for the Arkansas State Red Wolf.
with the ground out. The DeLand lineup flips over, so it'll be the leadoff guy, Daniel Baez, who leads things off for DeLand. He was able to manage a walk last time up.
Hard thrown ball goes outside for Vargas, making a 2-0 count to get things started here for Baez.
Yeah, that ball had some gas behind it, definitely. Unfortunately, just missed the zone.
Another one has some velo behind it, and it's going to be 3 straight out of the zone. Vargas struggling with his command here against Baez, and that one is strike 1.
Ball just hit the top half of the strike zone there. Still a favorable hitter's count for the batter.
Opposite field fly out for Baez goes right into the glove of a still standing Zacharias Walker. So Baez goes down on 5 pitches as the F7 is converted by Zacharias Walker. Barely had to take a couple steps to his left to make that catch, but 2 step up, 2 sat down. The center fielder O'Brien is going to be at the plate for the 3rd time today with 2 outs.
Yeah, 0 for 2. Struck out last time he was up and grounded out in the first. First pitch he sees is outside for ball number 1.
Yep, he watches that one leave the zone. Vargas trying to get through a 1-2-3 inning as that one also goes outside. Gabriel Vargas is out of St. Petersburg, same college as Drew Pines. O'Brien hits a soft grounder right back to the mound. Vargas jogs over to first, tosses it to Sean Stafford, and gets out number 3. So the side is retired in order 10-1-2 as the Squeeze are looking to continue this defensive momentum and turn it into offense when we come back for the 7th, when Adrian Delgado takes back over play-by-play. Squeeze up 2-1.
Welcome back. Leading things off for the Squeeze, it's going to be Zacharias Walker. Dawson Turner back out for another inning of work. He was able to keep the game at 2-1. Walker lines this one straight towards Justin Sayanis for a quick out number 1.
Make that back-to-back half innings where the first pitch that was thrown is a putout.
But looking at Maddox Meeks' final line, he went 5 2/3 innings, 2 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, 1 walk issued, and 3 strikeouts, but very solid on the mound. Unfortunately, right now, he is tabbed with the loss as those 2 runs that came across. First pitch to the next batter, outside for ball number 1. That's going to be Steinmetz at the plate.
Yeah, Cole Steinmetz, pretty quiet so far today. He was the final out of the second and the first of the fifth.
Turner, the 6'7" lefty out there.
Wow.
Yeah, absolute unit. Like our view from up here does look massive and
Should be guarding LeBron.
yeah. I was gonna say, it's a way different perspective once we're down there. Of course, you and I are not the biggest.
Yeah, yeah, you can say that again.
It's a 2-1 count on Steinmetz. 1 out.
But yeah, and I've obviously had the joy and pleasure of calling some games with our fellow colleague this summer, Vic Maslia, and he was kind of just talking about how for taller pitchers, it can be intimidating for batters, just seeing that imposing of a presence on the mound, and obviously the ball releases way closer to the mound for the taller guys, but at the same time, there's that risk of potential command issues because they have longer arms.
This will be a 3-1. And that just misses, so it'll be a walk. 1-out walk for Steinmetz, and you're absolutely correct. And we do see pitchers reach up there, but with like super, super tall guys, the only clear-cut example that comes to mind is Randy Johnson,
Absolutely.
of course.
Yeah, and that's why he's such a like a once in a generation talent. For him to be able to do what he did, and for as tall as he was, and he was a starter,
Yeah.
not even a reliever or a closer.
First pitch misses. Steinmetz goes on over to second base. It goes over Melendez's head and into the outfield. Good on Michael O'Brien to be able to corral it, prevent the runner to swipe any more bags. So Steinmetz moves on over to second base with the stolen base. Braden Weckman is ahead in the count 1-0.
Yeah, thank goodness that ball actually made its way to O'Brien quickly because it was slightly errant from Jackson Janila, but Cole Steinmetz will only advance one base.
That's the second stolen base for the Squeeze today. Pitch misses inside, so Weckman is ahead 2-0. Two balls, no striking out. Steinmetz is at second. Wickman at the plate. Pitch swung on, and this is sent towards right field. Holden Bronner is able to bring it in. Steinmetz tags up over to third base. The throw is not in time. Steinmetz looked like he slipped off the bag for just a second and maybe gave Eli Tidwell an opportunity, but unfortunately Tidwell not able to gather the ball in time. So with 2 outs, the potential third run for the Squeeze is only 90 feet away.
My goodness, what a throw in right field by Bronner. He missed Cole Steinmetz by just about half a second. I mean, that would have been arguably highlight of the night for just either team. I mean, that would have been an insane throw and a way to end the inning.
So it's ball number 1 to Scott.
Yeah, ever since his late arrival to this Winter Garden team, he's typically been towards the top of the order, but today he's actually at the bottom, which, like we talked about several times throughout the season, we maybe could see a lineup change like this. We talked about how Donatucci typically is at the bottom. Now he's at the top, and they move Scott to the bottom, and that kind of, it brings some balance, and it keeps the opposition constantly on their toes, because even though you're at the bottom of the order, you still have guys you have to worry about.
Yeah, sometimes to find success, you just need to shake things up a little bit. 1-1 to Scott, misses down low, so it'll be a 2-1 count on him. Two balls, a strike, 2 outs. Scott has flew out and struck out today. Turner delivers. Misses up high, so it'll be a 3-1 count, favorable hitters count for him.
Good job here by Scott.
With a runner at third base and 2 outs, if Scott walks here, it won't be the worst situation, as at least That enforces a force play at second base. But still dangerous as the second runner will be on 3-1. He gets it, so it'll be a full count.
Good job by Turner to force this full count here.
Full count, runner on third. Squeeze are only up by 1 here in the 7th. Turner settles in and delivers. Check swing, says he went, and that's going to be a strikeout. Scott doesn't like it. Argues it, and he's just going to walk back to the dugout as there's nothing he can do about that. So the strikeout strands the runner at third base. It's going to be a 4-batter inning for the Winter Garden Squeeze, and the Suns still down by 1, but we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Welcome back as we head to the Suns' half of the 7th inning. Lead things off for DeLand. It'll be Eli Tidwell. Tidwell 0 for 2 on the day. Popped out in the first, flew out in the 4th. First pitch he sees misses for ball number 1.
Yeah, Tidwell has had his fair share of putouts over at the first base bag.
Tidwell just swings and misses over that one, so be strike number 1.
Vargas still on the mound for Winter Garden after forcing a 1-2-3 inning.
1 ball, 1 strike on Tidwell. Delivery misses inside, so it'll be ball number 2.
We'll see how the Suns adjust to the new arm, as only up to this point 3 have faced him.
So it'd be a 3-1 on Tidwell. Suns need something quick. They need 1 run to take the lead, or 1 run to tie it, 2 to take the lead. And Tidwell reaches via leadoff walk.
He walks on 5 pitches. Good discipline there by Tidwell, as Vargas struggling just a little bit with his command there as he was trying to work that left side of the zone.
Gavin Thomas up to bat. Thomas 0 for 2 on the day with 2 strikeouts. Would love to see him do something right here. Breaking ball floats in there for strike number 1. Thomas has had a great season. Leads the league with 6 home runs. In the regular season had a .261 average, 26 RBIs, a triple. 18 runs scored in 88 at-bats, and he makes good contact on this one. That's going to land in left field, so Tidwell moves on over to second base, and Gavin Thomas has his first hit of the ball game here in the 7th.
What a smack out into left field by Gavin Thomas, and that was a good piece of hitting there as he hit a bit of a knockdown out into left and dropped in front of Zacharias Walker as he gets himself on base safely and advances Tidwell. They're going to talk things over with head coach Cameron Jurgens while the Squeeze take a mound visit.
Yeah, Coach Jurgens going to take an offensive timeout here, talk with his guys, because this is one of the best opportunities they've had all night here. 2 runners on with the tying and go-ahead run on base here, no outs. Holden Bronner steps up to the plate, and Bronner's had a great day. 2 doubles on the night. Of course, he stretched his last hit for a double, and that was a very close play at second base, but was able to get it nonetheless. If there's a guy who's going to break this game open, it's going to be Holden Bronner here. Coach Cameron Jurgens having a conversation with them, and Coach Mike McDaniel taking the time to talk to Vargas on the mound. A leadoff walk and a hit right after.
There's got to be about, I mean, I don't want to give a super rough estimate, but I don't think it's crazy to say that there's about 85 people here in attendance. Something like that.
So as the meetings break up, Tidwell returns to second base. Thomas returns to first, and it's going to be Holden Bronner who steps up to the plate here. Gabriel Vargas on the mound. Favorable righty on lefty matchup for Bronner here. Bronner's already has 2 doubles on the day. We'll see what he does here with the tying and go-ahead run. First pitch, swings that one. That's just going to go to the right side in foul territory. Suns have been able to string together some hits. 1 run off of 4 hits. Squeeze have 2 off of 5. Next pitch to Bronner is outside, so it'll be a 2-1 count on him. Excuse me, 1-1.
Yep, even count gets it started here for Holden Bronner, who has a prime opportunity coming up with 2 runners on and no outs here for DeLand.
Vargas gets set. Delivers to Bronner. Bronner swings on this one, and it's just going to be ruled foul. So 1-2. Following Bronner, it'll be Jackson Janilla, and if it gets there, it'll be Osman Melendez. Very tight ball game. It's been a pitcher's duel in this one. DeLand Suns had trouble in getting base runners on until this one. The 1-2 to Bronner. Misses low, so it'll be an even 2-2 count on him. Two runners on, 2 balls, 2 strikes on Holden Bronner. The delivery swung on, and this is sent straight towards Scott. Throw on over to second is in time. Throw to first is in time. That's going to be a double play. So the Winter Garden Squeeze, with no outs and 2 runners on, are able to pull off the double play. Eli Tidwell moves over to third base, but the sac fly or a ground out is no longer in play with 2 outs.
Brilliant defense there by the Winter Garden Squeeze, as because the grounder was hit so well to Caleb Scott, he had enough time to flip it to Incinelli, who he very narrowly could have missed the bag there, but he got his foot on it as he was catching it and almost kind of spun around a little bit to get the throw over to Stafford in time. Very good 4-6-3 to put the pressure on the Suns.
The Suns still have a chance to tie it. Eli Tidwell is 90 feet away from making it a new ball game. Jackson Jania is at the plate. He already has a single today. He makes contact on this one, but is hit straight towards Casadia. Throw to first is going to be in time, and that's out number 3. The Suns threaten with 2 base runners, but great defense behind the pitcher Vargas to prevent any runners from crossing home plate. So we're going to head to the top of the 8th inning. Squeeze are still up 2-1. Welcome back as we head to the top of the 8th inning. It's a new arm on the mound for the DeLand Suns. It's going to be Joey Irvin. Irvin's done well this season as a high leverage bullpen arm. 3-2 record on the season. 3.42 ERA in 12 games. He does have a save on the season. 21 innings pitched. In that span, he's allowed 14 walks and 18 hits, but has struck out 15 along the way. And leading things off for the Winter Garden Squeeze, it's going to be Javier Casadia starting things off here, the 10-hole hitter.
Yep, the third baseman will try to get on base for the 3rd straight time, singled in the 3rd, walked in the 5th.
Casadia recorded the assist, or the final assist in the last frame with that defensive lockdown. The DeLand Suns threatened with 2 runners on, but Winter Garden defense unable to do anything. He shoots this straight towards O'Sullivan. He throws on over to first base for out number 1.
So the 1-0 is turned into a 6-3, as that's the first time that Casadia has failed to reach base safely, but a good start to this inning if you're the Suns, who are slowly but surely running out of outs to work with.
And with that, the lineup flips over, and it'll be the 1-hole batter. Nico Banez up to bat. First pitch to him misses outside for ball number 1.
Back-to-back first pitches missed the zone here. Banez is 0 for 3 today.
Banez swings over the breaking ball, so it's ones across the board. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here.
Banez out of Dartmouth.
Next pitch is in there for strike number 1. Last time we saw Joey Irvin was against Sanford only 3 days ago. Pitched a complete inning. It's a perfect baseball. Didn't allow a hit or a walk. 2 is low, so it'll be even 2-2 on Banez. Two balls, two strikes, misses. So it'll be a full count, 3-2-1 on the board. Three balls, two strikes, one out. Breaking ball. It's able to make contact on this one. Melendez fields it. Throw on over to first is quick, and Sionis is not able to keep it in his glove. So Banez will reach first safely with one out, and that'll be an E4 towards Osman Melendez.
Yeah, obviously the throw was a little bit too far to the left of the first base bag, which took Sionis off of it as he struggled to not only keep his balance, but also to keep it in the glove. And that's obviously the signal that the umpire gave, which allowed Banez to get on base safely.
We're going to have a pinch hitter up to bat. It'll be Michael Thomas batting for Dominic Donatucci. First pitch to Thomas. It's going to be outside for ball number 1.
Yeah, Michael Thomas actually began his summer in this exact manner, getting subbed in late in the opening contest against Orlando. Got a single in that one. We'll see if he can do the same here.
Swings on that breaking ball and misses, so it'll be a 1-1 count on him.
Thomas, an outfielder from Edward Waters University.
The 1-1 to Thomas. Throwing over to second base, runner as the runner goes, and of course the DeLand Suns are not able to keep the ball in as it rolls away from Osman Melendez. So Banez is able to move into scoring position.
Yeah, Nico Banez had a decent jump on it. Maybe if the throw from Janila was a little bit quicker, he could have tried to have a play for it, but good job being aggressive here by Banez.
Squeeze right again with the runner in scoring position, and that strike is in there to catch the pinch hitter Thomas looking for a strikeout.
Yeah, Thomas goes down looking, kind of tried to plead his case a little bit to the home plate umpire, but he'll be out number 2 here in the penultimate inning of this wild card game for the Squeeze.
So here comes Sean Stafford up to bat here. Would like to retire him before the all-ever dangerous Drew Pines steps up to the plate. That doesn't mean that Sean Stafford isn't dangerous. First pitch to him is swung on, but that drifts left for a foul ball.
Yeah, we've seen what Stafford can do here at this ballpark as he belted the first home run of the season for the Squeeze over the right field wall here at Melching Field, but he's down 0-1 here to Irvin.
No balls, a strike on Stafford. Pitch to him, breaking ball, and it misses, so it'd be a 1-ball, 1 strike on him.
Even count coming up here for the first baseman.
The 1-1 on Stafford. It's Banez at second base. Here's the delivery from Irvin. It's fouled off, so it'll be a 1-2 count on him. Who's going to get to it first? And it's going to be, it's a little bit of a tussle for the foul ball. Who's going to get it? Who's going to get it? And it's going to be the Suns dugout ball boy who comes up with it. Wow. That ball landed right below the S, and both ball boys were absolutely gunning for it.
He got revenge for the raises of the bases.
It looked like the Squeeze ball boy got to it first, but the Suns guy just wanted it more.
Yep, it's awesome to see the kids having fun as well. Banez.
Runner goes, but it's fouled back, so Banez will be forced to return to second base. They're letting him keep third?
Yeah, they say he did not the ball. I mean the bat did not make contact.
Okay. So Bonnie's is now at third base. Sean Stafford is at the plate. Deuce is wild on the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Misses high, so it'll be a full count on him.
Yeah, now the Squeeze have some pressure as they're potentially down to their final pitch here in the 8th inning. Only a 1-run game. We could not have asked for a better wild card.
Yeah. If Stafford reaches, Pines is up to plate. Pines has earned 2 consecutive Player of the Week honors. I believe it was week 2 and week 3 that
Yep.
he earned that distinction.
Yeah, at one point in the season, Pines had his average above 400.
Had a day where he hit 3 homers
Yeah.
in a doubleheader. So we'll do the 3-2 on Stafford again. Banez is at third base. The delivery from Irvin swung on and missed. It'll be a foul tip and a strikeout for Joey Irvin, so he strands the runner at third base and keeps the game at 2-1. Suns down by 1, in need of something, and they'll be up to bat when we come back. Welcome to the Suns' half of the 8th inning. Leading things off for DeLand is going to be Osman Melendez. Melendez was able to reach last time via a walk. As part of that frame that the Suns scored in. First pitch to him is a breaking ball up high for ball number 1.
Yeah, Vargas has seemed to be missing a lot of pitches in that area.
Vargas out there work. Hard hit ball by Melendez, but diving stop. Throw to the pitcher is not in time as he's called safe. What a bang play right there. And Osman Melendez is able to reach first off an infield single.
Yeah, because that grounder was hit so hard by Osman Melendez, Stafford not only had to dive for it, but kind of took him a second to get up and toss it back to Vargas, who did not win the foot race against Melendez. And this is exactly what you need if you're the Suns down 1 late.
Yeah, the Suns really needed that one here. They haven't had an issue in these recent innings of getting runners on. It's bringing them across. That's given them strife. But here's Waz Rawlings. He does have the only RBI for the Suns on the day. It was another close play last time Rawlings was up with that almost turned double play ball.
Yep.
Instead, Rawlings was called safe at first base, so the RBI stood. Osman Melendez at first, Waz Rawlings behind 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. Contact is made. It might land in no man's land, and it does. So Melendez is able to make it to second base. Waz Rawlings has a blooper of a hit, but that will do as he moves a runner to scoring position.
He takes the 0-1 pitch and puts it in the sweet spot. Those are the plays that you may not have fully intended to happen, but it can turn out in your favor just like that because it landed in between Stafford, Scott, and Weckman out in shallow right field here. And just like that, the Suns have put the go-ahead run on base with no outs.
Connor O'Sullivan shows bunt and holds back on it, but the pitch still floats in there for strike number one. Suns again with another opportunity to bring across the tying run. The go-ahead run also stands at first base. 0-1-2 O'Sullivan shows bunt again, but holds back, so it'll be 1-1 on him. O'Sullivan did notch a homer on on Friday. He's 0 for 2 today, but would love to see his power in this one. 1 ball, 1 strike, bunt again, taken for ball number 2.
Good job on him to retract that bunt there to now get ahead of the count against Vargas. Obviously, he's trying to put together a sacrifice bunt to advance the base runners.
Interesting seeing how Vargas pitches to him now as he's shown bunt 3 times. He shows bunt again and holds back. Vargas seems to be a little threatened out there by the bunt attempts as he misses 3 times this at-bat. So it'll be a 3-1 count on Connor O'Sullivan.
Yeah, it looks like some bullpen activity for Winter Garden here.
Runners on first and second, 3-1 count to Connor O'Sullivan. Vargas deals, runners go, and it'll be fouled back, so the runners will be forced to return to their spots.
Good jump by both Melendez and Rawlings.
It'll be a full count on Connor O'Sullivan, so probably won't be seeing a bunt here. We'll see if the runners go again. Infield, at least the right side of the infield, is playing really deep, trying to prevent a ball from going to the outfield. The 3-2 misses. O'Sullivan walks, and that loads the bases with no outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
A full count walk here for the DeLand Suns. Good job by O'Sullivan to stay patient as they load the bases in the most clutch of situations, as that'll be it for Gabriel Vargas's night.
Yeah, Gabriel Vargas is done after loading the bases here in the 8th. We'll be back when we introduce the squeeze pitcher to you and tell you all about him.
you. I'm afraid.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the bottom of the 8th inning. DeLand threatening here as they have the bases loaded with no outs. New arm on the mound for the Winter Garden Squeeze. It's going to be Caden Koch.
Yep, Caden Koch will relieve Gabriel Vargas, as this is actually one of the few appearances he's made so far this summer. He was a late addition for this Squeeze team. We'll give his numbers after the first pitch.
Yeah, first pitch misses outside of Judson Sayanis.
So, yeah, for Caden Koch, in his singular appearance that he has had so far, it was 2/3 of work against the DeLand Suns, actually, back on July 16th. In those 2/3 of an inning, he had a walk and 2 strikeouts in 4 batters faced.
2-0 count on Judson Sayanis. Nowhere to put him, with Osmond Melendez at third, William Rawlings at second, and Connor O'Sullivan at first. Next pitch misses up high, so it's a 3-0 count. Would not imagine any scenario where Sayanis swings here. All 3 runners will be charged to Vargas if they do come across. The 3-0, bases loaded. Suns down by 1. In there for a strike.
Hitters count coming up here for the first baseman with no outs. So obviously any kind of sacrifice would be beneficial here for the Suns.
3 balls, 1 strike, Judson Sayanis. Suns down by 1. Makes contact on this one. This sent sky high and foul. So it'll be a full count.
Lands right here to our right in the stands as it's rolling. A kid is going to get it. So yep, he's got it. I wonder, do they have any like prizes for foul balls here at Conrad Park?
I know we used to give away like frozen yogurt. I don't know if we do that anymore.
A bag of chips or something would be cool.
3 balls, 2 strikes, payoff pitch, bases loaded, fouled back. So we'll do it again. If it wasn't for that netting and this glass in front of me, I was forced to make a play.
If that netting was not there, we all would have ducked out of the way.
Payoff pitch again. Good battle here for Judson Sayanis. But also good on Koch to battle back. Had Sayanis in a 3-0 count. Able to work it into a full count. The 3-2. Swung on and missed. That's a strikeout for Caden Koch right there. And things get interesting. The Squeeze defense has been playing phenomenal for them. And the double play will get them out of this bases loaded situation.
So finally, the Squeeze get an out here off of the strikeout by Sayanis. But still some work to do as they got to get 2 more if they want to get out of this inning with the lead still intact.
So here's Daniel Baez up to bat, 0 for 2 in the day, but did reach on a walk. First pitch to him is up high for ball number 1. Ball had some good velo on it. Just missed just high.
So far, Koch has thrown an even 4-4 between strikes and balls.
The 1-0-2 Baez is inside, but it's called for a strike.
Wow, that was
1-1 on him.
Yeah, that was, I guess, not as inside as I suspected.
So even count, one's across the board. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. The pitch to Baez, swung on and fouled. Caden Koch inherited a very sticky situation, was able to strike out Sayanis after a long battle, and now has Daniel Baez behind 1-2.
Super crucial situation for both teams here.
The 1-2. It's taken up high, so it'll be an even 2-2 count.
He almost flinched there, but just he made the last second decision to stay back.
The crowd's getting into it with the bases loaded. So we're going to do the 2-1 again. Koch delivers outside. So another full count for Caden Koch. 3-2-1 on the scoreboard. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Dangerous situation for the Winter Garden Squeeze here. They're only up by 1.
Yeah, you can feel the playoff atmosphere really beginning to set in now, as this is, as they call, crunch time.
Tying run is 90 feet away. Go ahead's at second. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled again. Do have to give credit to Sayanes and Baez here. They're really making Koch work out of the pen. But Koch is also not faltering as he's keeping on the pressure on these batters. This was any mistake, and it's a brand new ball game.
7th pitch of this at-bat coming up.
The 3-2 misses up high, so he walks in a run. Daniel Baez will reach first base. Osman Melendez touches home plate, and we have a brand new ball game here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
It may be 2-2, but it basically is 0-0 as everything is now reset here in this ball game, like you just said, because Baez goes to first. O'Sullivan moves to second. Rollins goes over to third, as it's still bases loaded here with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. The Suns have found life late in this ball game.
So first pitch to Michael O'Brien is in there for strike number 1, and we do apologize. It's actually Nolan Maroth on the mound for the Winter Garden Squeeze. So Maroth inherited the sticky situation, and after striking out Sayanes, does walk Baez to bring in a run. It's a 2-2 ball game. The Suns have had opportunities, and finally, here in the 8th, they're able to tie things back up again. Only 1 out here, so plenty of opportunity to take the lead. Go-ahead run is only 90 feet away.
And since that is the case, interestingly enough, they're throwing him into the deep end. This is his first appearance of the summer.
What a time to come in. Two balls, a strike, and an out.
It'll actually be his second, so just like how it would have been for Caden Koch.
Yes, he did pitch against Winter Garden. O'Brien swings and misses at that one, in that game against Winter Park. Did pitch an inning, did allow an earned run off a hit and 2 walks. Still dangerous situation for the Squeeze here. Melendez was able to score, so it's Rawlings at third, O'Sullivan at second, and Baez at first. Michael O'Brien's able to make contact on this. It skips off the mound. Only play is at first and is in time, but that still brings in the go-ahead run as William Rawlings score. What a funky play for Michael O'Brien there, but it's still an RBI nonetheless. He was able to notch one. It deflected off the pitcher's mound, and luckily Scott was able to get to it and throw to first for the out.
Yeah, that was really weird sequence of events there, as it just took a high bounce, like you said, off of the mound. Scott does get out number 2 as he puts out O'Brien, but Rawlings comes home to score and gives the lead to DeLand.
The DeLand Suns have a lead, and now next frame it is a safe situation, as it will be the Squeeze's final chance this summer. So no balls, no strikes to Eli Tidwell, and that misses high and outside for ball number 1. So we have not just a brand new ball game, but the Suns have taken the lead late here. It's kind of ironic or poetic, you could say, as beginning of the season, that initial series against Winter Park, all 3 of those games were come-from-behind wins, and here we go in the first game of the playoffs, and if things hold here, Suns are coming from behind.
And this is exactly what we talked about at the beginning of the game. You know, this is the most high-stakes situation possible. You have to be on your A game through all 9 innings of play.
So it's going to be 1 ball, 1 strike on Eli Tidwell. 2 runners in scoring position for him. Only play that the Squeeze defense has here is at first base. If you're the Suns, yes, you do have the lead, but still have an opportunity to tack on insurance here, which is so vital in the sport of baseball because anything can happen with 3 outs. The 2-1. Tidwell swings and misses on that one, so it'll be deuces wild on the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Not just on the board, but on the bases as well for the third baseman, as Maroth has forced an even 2-2 count here for Tidwell. Must get out here for the squeeze.
The 2-2 to Eli Tidwell, swung on and missed, so Maroth has a strikeout and keeps the game where it is. But still, DeLand is able to bring across 2 in the frame, and they have the lead. It'll be the squeeze last chance. Top of the 9th, coming right up. Welcome to the top of the 9th inning, and we couldn't have scripted it any better as this is such a high-stakes situation. Suns were able to bring 2 across in the bottom of the 8th to take the lead, so the squeeze down by 1 and down to potentially their last 3 outs of the season.
Yep, this has absolutely been an electric game, despite the score not saying such. It's been a pitcher's duel all throughout, but this 9th inning is going to be defined by the old sports saying that goes, big-time players make big-time plays.
Joey Irvin, still on the mound, grounded to Connor O'Sullivan, throw on over to first base, and the Suns have their first out of the 9th and are that one step closer to facing the 1 seed, the Sanford River Rats.
So Drew Pines swings on the first pitch he sees, gets on top of it, grounds it over to O'Sullivan, tried to beat it out, but unfortunately turns it into a 6-3. This is the meat of the order.
This is the meat of the order. That's so good on Joey Irvin to retire Drew Pines, but things don't get much easier with Incinelli up to bat. Incinelli notched a homer just a week ago here in DeLand.
Absolutely, and not only that, but also had that homer against Winter Park a few days ago, but he's quickly down 0-2 here.
Incinelli down 0-2. Pitch from Irvin. Contact is made, but it shoots to the left side for a foul ball.
Dire situation here for Winter Garden, down 1 in the final inning of this wild card game.
And Ricky, this is just the wild card too. There's still so much playoff baseball to be played, and that's a base hit for the Winter Garden squeeze. Their hopes stay alive here as Incinelli notches a 1-out single, and he represents the tying run at first base.
His second hit of the ball game, Isaac Incinelli floats it over the head of Osman Melendez, gets himself on base safely, and like you said, keeps the squeeze's hopes alive.
Remember, he was the first squeeze to reach base in this contest and came around and scored that first run. Runs have been kind of a premium this game. 3 and 2, very close pitchers duel. This one is ground towards Osmo Melendez. He throws on over to second, and there will be no double play turn, but at least the lead runner is retired. So 2 outs here.
So Zacharias Walker fends off that pitch, and he's on base safely because of the fielder's choice. Melendez deciding to get not only the conservative out, but also, like you said, the lead runner here.
So potentially Winter Garden's last batter of the summer here. It's going to be all up to Cole Steinmetz. Steinmetz is 0 for 2 on the day with a walk. Takes the first pitch for a ball. A ball, no strikes on Steinmetz. Dire situation for Joey Irvin on the mound. The tying run is at first base. That's Zacharias Walker. The 1-0 pitch is in there for strike number 1.
Even count here for the squeeze, as Cole Steinmetz is now tasked with trying to extend this inning here.
Irvin's been great as a high leverage reliever out of the pen, but that pitch misses, so it'll be a 2-1 on Steinmetz. He does have a save on the season.
Yeah, Steinmetz out of Valdosta State. Good on him to get ahead of the count here against Irvin.
The 2-1 swung on and fouled, so it'll be a 2-2 count. Deuces are wild on the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Winter Garden down to their last potential strike here. Zacharias Walker at first base. Steinmetz, the last hope for the squeeze.
This has absolutely felt and been a playoff game all day long.
The 2-2 from Irvin swung, and this is sent straight towards Connor O'Sullivan. He scoops it, throw on over to first, but he's not going to let go of it. So now the Squeeze have a runner in scoring position. It was too difficult of a play for O'Sullivan to make, so the Squeeze still stay alive. Ricky, my heart is beating out of my chest here.
I mean, yeah, no, this is shaping up to be a storybook ending either way. I mean, like you said, O'Sullivan had it. It was a soft hit grounder by Cole Steinmetz. It would have been an off-platform throw for O'Sullivan. He looked both ways and ultimately just decided to keep the ball safe and try to, I guess, if they can, get one of Steinmetz or Weckman out here instead.
Yeah, but here's Braden Weckman. He is 1 for 3 on the day with an RBI. The tying run is at second. The go-ahead is at first base. Weckman with a 1-0 count on him. The delivery in there for strike number 1.
Most of the times in our field of work, we're sitting for most of the game. But in this situation, you got to stand up.
Yeah, you got to stand up for such a high leverage situation like this. The 1-1 to Weckman. Contact is made, but that's fouled back, so it'll be a 1-2 on him. Winter Garden once again down to their last strike, but they've already seen this story twice already this inning, and they've managed to stay alive.
And in this situation, you best believe no one wants to go down looking. I can tell you that for sure.
Joey Irvin gets set. Zacharias Walker at second base. Here's the pitch. This is made contact, and this is stepped on third base. The DeLand Suns squeeze out of this one as they beat the Winter Garden Squeeze 3-2 here in the playing game. Weckman just notched one over to Eli Tidwell. He makes the force play at third base for out number 3. And it's the DeLand Suns who will be moving on to face the Sanford River Rats in the next playoff series.
What an absolutely insane ball game for us to be a part of, down to the wire, as it ultimately came down to literally a 1-run game, but that's all you need in order to get the win and advance in the playoffs. It was the RBI hit from Actually, it was an RBI fielder's choice, essentially, from Zacharias Walker to get the scoring started in the second. Like you said, Weckman had the RBI in the 5th, but it was DeLand who stayed the course, stayed in it all game long, had the huge inning in the 8th when they put up 2 to take the lead as they advance to the semifinals against the Sanford River Rats.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the DeLand Suns, it was looking dire for them. They were able to bring one across in the 5th with Holden Bronner able to notch a double and come around eventually. But that was a close play by William Rawlings, too, to beat out the throw. And, of course, that huge 8th inning where they kept the rally up. They walked in the tying run. And, of course, a fielder's choice gave them the lead. But also, this was a great pitching performance from both sides today. You look at Maddox Meeks, who went a season high of 5 2/3 innings, only allowed 6 hits. Those 6 hits gave way to 2 earned runs, but only walked 1 and struck out 3. Dawson Turner and Joey Irvin came to shut things down. Dawson Turner went 1 1/3, only allowed a walk and struck out 1. Joey Irvin gets the save with 2 innings pitched, only allowing 2 hits and striking out 2. But that is not to take anything away from those Winter Garden pitchers. It's going to be Isaac Sewell, who had 5 innings pitched. Absolutely phenomenal showing from him out there today.
Yeah, he went 5 innings, only gave up 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts here against the DeLand Suns. He did very well in his start here. And like you said, both pitchers just were not budging. Both defenses also were pretty much spectacular for the majority of the way. They had their hiccups along the way, but all in all, a great ball game, great defense, and if there was a way for the wild card game to go and set the tone for this year's playoffs, it's how this one went.
Ricky, it's been an absolute pleasure calling this one with
Definitely,
you.
man.
Course of the rest
Absolutely.
Of the season. Wish you good luck on your rest of your summer, but unfortunately, only one team goes on. And it's going to be the DeLand Suns, who take on the Sanford River Rats tomorrow at Sanford Memorial Stadium. Their playoff hopes live on as they beat the Winter Garden Squeeze 3-2. What a way to start off the playoffs with a tight one in this one. But I'm Adrian Ogata alongside my partner Ricky Potts. We do thank y'all for joining us in this one, and we'll see y'all next time. We play in DeLand on Wednesday.
Yep.
River Rats, DeLand Suns are at the River Rats tomorrow. But thank you again. We'll see you next time.